This is our healing list event for patrons, for my July patrons. Thank you so much for your support. So we have 40 people on the list today, and I have strong energy coming through this morning around the Phoenix, and especially the Phoenix for releasing and the Phoenix for rising. So what I'm feeling is that I'd like to work with this energy, sort of the twofold of this energy. So doing some focus around releasing and then some focus around rising. And they both go together really, really well. You might find yourself at this time more pulled towards one than the other, and that's great. And there might be some of you who are pulled to both. So maybe as you're checking in and as you're preparing to connect, check in with yourself now before we get talking and get shifting of energy. What do you feel like you're currently in? If you could, can you feel and see if you're in a releasing mode? Are you letting go? Are there things that have been building up within you that require surrendering and releasing? Or are you feeling a rising energy that's sort of lifting you up and feeling like it empowers and wants to pull you up to the next level? Oh, welcome, Jane. You haven't missed much. I've literally been here for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So welcome. So are you in releasing mode or rising mode? Are you releasing, I think, of a downward energy, releasing down and letting go? Or are you in a rising energy that wants to lift up? Or both? Or maybe something else. Doesn't have to be those. But if you could pinpoint either, which one would resonate most strongly with you? So my intention, releasing mood, says Robin. Yes, welcome, Robin. So what I've done is, so we've got 40 people even on the healing list today. So that's 20 and 20. Hi, Magenta. Magenta says, I'm definitely in a rising energy mode coinciding with the new moon. Yes, fantastic. I know for me, I'm feeling both. Actually, I feel equal parts of both, a bit like a, like a half moon where the moon's kind of half in the dark and half in the light that we can see, even though we know that's just from our perspective, but that's sort of the space I'm in. Hi, Alison, lovely to see you. Because we've got exactly 40 on the list today, I've decided to go to put 20 over. Yes, rising will help with my releasing. Isn't that interesting, Jane? Because I think of it as sometimes as the other way around a little bit, as releasing will help with my rising. But yes, rising will help with my releasing. Alison feels both as well. And Teala, hi Teala, I was in the rising energy mode, but I feel held back. Maybe I need to release something to rise. Yeah, maybe that's the case. So I've got, I've printed all of you out, and I've got 5 people per paper. So I've got 8 papers in my bowl here, 8 papers of 5. So I'm going to pull out 4 to focus on the releasing and 4 to focus on the rising. 4 groups of 5. So there'll be, basically I'm dividing the healing list into 2. And so it's going to be interesting to see how you feel before going into this, or as you're connecting here, which section that you happen to be allocated to for releasing or for rising. Not that you are discluded from either, from the other one at the same time. So if you happen to be, you can certainly dive into the releasing section and vice versa. If you're in the release section, you can absolutely dive into the rise. But it's going to be very interesting to see where your name falls in this rise and release energy. So let's just see comments here. Jane says, it's often the other way around, but rising first today, maybe because I'm still half asleep. Maybe. Alison said, could flow both ways now, couldn't it? It could. A bit like a cycle or a circle. If we had rise, release, we could go from one to the other and from the other back to the other one. Yes, open to receiving either. Absolutely. So let's let's play this bowl for a moment I feel it a little hyped up. So I think the rise energy is certainly pulling me to it. So I just want to kind of calm down just a little bit. And we'll play the singing bowl just for a moment, and then I'll pull a card as we move into our release mode. So let's prepare ourselves. Take some nice big breaths and think about breathing out and letting go of the stress and the pressure that you're under in your everyday life. So the stuff that you've got going on, and bring yourself fully here. Become as fully present as you can be. Okay, so let's move into releasing mode. So I'm going to share what I've sort of already written and other things. And I think I forgot to say, but this is especially connected with the Phoenix. So the Phoenix energy came through very strongly as soon as I got up, because when I get up on the day that I'm doing this healing list event at the end of each month, from the moment I get up, I'm feeling for what's the energy want to do with the healing event today. And as soon as I got up, I knew the Phoenix energy was really strong. The Phoenix for releasing, the Phoenix for rising. So that fiery element is really strong at this time coming into this event. So I think of the fire element, again, I suppose, so releasing and rising with the Phoenix, and the fire element I see as a release as well, the fire releasing and burning away the parts of ourselves, the parts of our life, the things in our experience that have expired or that we don't need to hold on to any longer. I see it like a bushfire that burns through the forest, and it might char everything, but it also brings regeneration, because these trees, they grow leaves in places that I didn't think leaves could grow from. It always fascinates me seeing a forest after a fire, and you have these blackened, the gum trees anyway, you have these blackened gum trees, they look totally dead, totally lifeless. And then once some rain comes and the weather warms up, you start seeing like masses of leaves just forming around the trunk and any branches that might be still remaining. So that burning, that clearing, that really burning away of the debris and the stuff that's sort of left about is really powerful with the fire element. But then it also brings life, doesn't it? Well, it's got a rising energy in itself. When the flame and the fire is going, it naturally rises the energy, lifts the energy up as it dances with the oxygen in the air. But it also has that regeneration feeling, especially when I'm thinking fire and a forest fire. So I've got energy, something moving in my throat here. So releasing. Let's pull the names out and I'll talk as we go. And then I'm going to pull a card for the releasing time. So I'm going to pull 4 papers that have got 5 names on per paper. And when we're releasing, let's think perhaps of that fire element, the fire element of the phoenix, or the fire that's burning through a forest or what have you, to regenerate the forest, to burn away the debris and all the limbs and the litter from the forest that have fallen in the months or years previous. That the fire is actually like a clean-up, isn't it? It's like cleans up all the low-hanging fruit, all the stuff that's fallen to the forest floor. It cleans up probably better than almost anything, because it actually transforms it. If water is cleaning up or if air is cleaning up, it's just blowing or wetting something to go somewhere else. But the fire is literally transforming that litter, those fallen branches or fallen trees that have littered the forest floor. The fire is burning those away into ash that then becomes fertilizer and the base for the next phase of that forest. So think about, so this is releasing now. Who's ready to release? Releasing all, surrendering, letting go, and breathing out the old air. So we're talking releasing now. Teala Smith, Magenta Borealis, Tash Gerlach, Alison, and Sylvia Barley. So let go, release. I'm going to write release on the back of your paper. Releasing, releasing. And what I'm feeling here is the fire kicking up its power, kicking up its energy, its force, burning away the stuff that we are ready to let go of, especially those names I've already called. Let's add also to these releasing people Angie Griswold, Kimberly Veness, Emily Fussell, Viktoria Daniels, and Gayle McCoy. Releasing and letting go. So as you release, think about breathing all of the air out of an old balloon. If you were an old balloon, if your body was an old, tired balloon, breathe all that old air out and let it go. Okay, next 5 are Sandi Greenham, Joanna Levine, Kathleen Glen, Susan McMillan, and Rayna Ortiz. So release and relax, let go. Now, when I'm releasing too, I'm also thinking or very aware of my body and noticing tension or tightness that I might be holding in my body itself, especially around the shoulders, the face, and the thighs seem to be quite tightly held, I've noticed, for me anyway. So I'm going to say that last names there again because I'm not sure if my connection dropped prior to that. So for releasing, Sandi Greenham, Joanna Levine, Kathleen Glen, Susan McMillan, and Rayna Ortiz. So letting go. So I was just talking about breathing out, but also being aware of the tension and the tightness that you hold in your body. So especially any muscles, could be across the shoulders, the face, the thighs, or any part of your body where you're holding tense and holding tight, maybe without realizing it. Maybe you're squinting your face like I feel like I am because I'm here in the sunlight. Maybe you need to breathe out and just relax through your chest cavity, through your heart, your lungs, your diaphragm. Maybe your belly is feeling a bit tight and tense. Can you relax through your belly and your legs? Scan your body and see if you can relax and release just a little deeper in your body. Good morning. Okay, and the last people here on the list for releasing is Chelsea Keith, Jayne B. We've got a few Janes here. Robin Hippler, Christopher Regan, and Rebecca Ross. So releasing and letting go. I'd really love to have my rattle or something. I've got my flute. I'll be back. Okay, let's play the flute to release, and then we'll play the singing bowl to rise in a minute. Actually, first, before I do that, let's grab a card around releasing. So deeply release. How deep can you release? Can you acknowledge the release state that you're at now? And can you release and let go a little further and a little further? Can you breathe out and let go? So what do we need to know now around releasing and letting go? It's like stripping ourselves back, stripping old skin off our body, stripping away the bark from our trees that shed bark, but they're nice and thick and great symbol of releasing. Maybe you're resonating with the fire element. You imagine using that to help you release. We have card 23, the bridge between the heart and the throat. It's in the action category. So see how this resonates with you. It says, speak honestly from your heart. Bridge the gap. Say what you feel. An opportunity to clear the air, communicate, and express your inner feelings. Okay, so what I'm really being drawn to is this release of energy in this bridge. So the feather is like a bridge that connects one space to another. So in the case of this particular card, when I drew it, it was connecting the heart with the throat. But we could be connecting the past with the future, with the old with the new, as we let go and create a bridge between where we are now and where we want to be. So where we are now and what we're releasing that is heavy for us or doesn't have a purpose when we move forward to carry with us, as we then rise up and travel across this feather bridge to where we want to be or where we're going to, this new life, these new beginnings that we might be generating at this time. So as we let go of this muddy energy, oh, beautiful, Alison. As we let go of this muddy energy, and also it's almost like standing in the mud. Like I feel like this feather, it's like standing in mud, like knee deep in mud. So this might be another great angle of visualization for you to look at as you're releasing. Do you feel stuck in the mud? Maybe the mud has become set like concrete and you can't move much right now. Why? And how can you free yourself of that? So maybe it's also going to shift when we move into the rising energy and lift up shortly. But this energy here is strong, this heavier energy here of the past and where we were. And then soon we're going to lift up into or onto that feather bridge. Let's do a little bit of fluting. So take a nice big breath. And I'm thinking of this or holding the intention as I play the flute to release, to let go. So nice big breath. I'll just get a sound out first so I know what I'm doing. Okay, releasing and moving ourselves out of the mud and up to the top of the surface, ready to travel through that bridge. I want to say like the rainbow bridge, but the feather bridge as well, through the bridge that takes lifting up. Let's grab a card ready for rise. I feel like I want to move into this energy now. So rising up, lifting up, expanding, all that old air that we just breathed out of the old balloon of us. Welcome, Marsha. Breathing out that old balloon. Now we breathe air into the new balloon. We now switch. So from breathing out and focusing on that releasing to breathing in and focusing on bringing in and lifting up and rising up and expanding. And it is like a balance of giving and receiving of our in and our out breath. So the best card to start, and then we'll call the people, call those of you on who's still left on the healing list. Aha, the spiral of grace as we lift up. Rise up, card 24. And down here it says, lifting up out of karmic patterns, old wounds, and the past. So this is that bridge here, this feather bridge, out of the muddy parts of our past or our path right now. It says, transform fear into love. Let the past go, lighten your load and release separation issues. So this is about moving up into the path that is a spiral path now and moving out of this more circular, repetitive, relentless, one thing after another kind of path. That's what the energy feels like right now with this here, that it just seems to circulate and circulate. And as it circulates, we kind of just bury ourselves further down into the mud as it circulates around in this relentless spin. But the spiral of grace is like this bridge, like the feather bridge, but this is more spiral in form as it lifts us out of the mud, the ashes of the past, like the phoenix rising up from the ashes of its predecessor, lifting up in a spiral fashion, up and expanding. So this is really good, moving this energy through. Let's see, or let's add those of you who are left. And you know, if your name hasn't been called yet, you're on this side of things. So this is rising. So if I'm saying your name, really deeply embody that energy of rise. If you've already been releasing, you can also switch your focus now into rising. So Bathsheba Dixon, Joanne Monroe, Andrea Stuart, Angela Fraser, and Jayne Corlett. Rising. I'm writing rising on the back here of your name. My hands are getting very hot with healing energy and the energy shifting in my throat again. I can feel my voice is changing every now and then. So there's a lot of energy that's shifting here. A lot that's coming up in the throat and the lungs and the chest as well, and the hands. So are you ready to rise? Are you ready to rise like the phoenix and lift up out of the crappy parts of your life that you've been rolling around in for too long? Those muddy parts that have been covering and coating you and holding you back. Stand up from that rubble now. Stand up from the ashes and shake that off. And as you shake it off, you're readying yourself to travel on that feather bridge or that spiral of grace path up into your rising, up into your expansion. Okay, next group of people here in the rising energy is Avril Daly, Pamela Florea, Marguerite Pepper Brady, Nicole Wiggins, and Jane Larson. And I'll just write rising here on the back of your paper, lifting up and rising. Oh, my hands are so hot. So lots of healing energy coming through now. So continue to let go. As you surrender and let go, you allow your energy to rise. You let go of the energetic weight that's been holding you down and bogging you down and keeping you stuck and stagnant. So the more you release, the more you rise. The more you rise, the more you can release. So keep that momentum going. Keep building that energy of releasing and rising, breathing out and breathing in, and feel that become bigger and deeper and more expanded each time you do that. So next group of people here are Suzie Nicholls, Priscilla Kimboko, Yvonne Kruzich, Bridget Mehrtens, and Janice Chalmers. Rising up, lifting up. Can you stretch your body? Can you imagine your body is stretching and pulling you upright? Maybe you want to stretch and really stretch through your body on a vertical, stretching up and feeling your neck elongate, feeling your shoulders drop, your spine straighten. Feel your tailbone stretch and your legs stretch. You may even want to stand up and really feel how much you can rise and stretch in your body. So as you stretch and expand and rise, you drop more of that energetic weight, the burdens that you've been carrying. You release. Okay, last group of people here. Carol White, Susan Sonsteng, Andreas Kazantzidis, I'm sorry, Andreas, Kanti, Devi, Wedad, and Matthew Keith. Rising, lifting, growing, expanding. And I feel it now stretching through the lungs. So ensure that your breathing is as nice and big and full and long and expanded as possible. One thing, or a couple of things I really love to do when I'm breathing and really working with this energy is to hold that breath in between breaths. So as you're breathing in, as much as you can, hold it for a couple of seconds, a couple of counts, then breathe out everything that you can and then hold it for a couple of counts. So this is a great way to really stretch your lungs and stretch that energy that we're connecting with, that breathing in and that breathing out. And another thing I love to do with my breathing is to breathe in as much as I can and then breathe in a bit more and then release. And breathe in as much as you can, breathe in a bit more and then release. And maybe you could try it too with your releasing. So as you're breathing out, breathe out as much as you can, then breathe out a bit more, and then breathe in. And then breathe in as much as you can, and then breathe in a bit more, and then breathe out. And really stretching, expanding through your lungs, through your breath, through your whole chest, because it includes your heart as you're working with your breath. It also includes your solar plexus chakra, which is your power center. So as you expand this part of yourself, you're also expanding or illuminating your personal power, your ability to grow and endure and feel courage and strong and confident and clarity. So I've got rising people here on my right, left, releasing people here on my left. And I'm going to now move into the singing bowl. So let's work with the singing bowl to really expand this energy further. How far can you take it? How much can you stretch past the limitations of your body and your mental capacity? Can you grow and expand and increase this releasing and rising energy further? How far can you take it? Let's see if the bowl can support that journey for you. So go as far as you can and then see if you can go further. Is there more that can be released? Is there more that you can access to support your rising? As we lift up from the ashes, the mud, the pain, the hurt, the fear, and lift up, following the spiral path or the feather bridge up to where, or into where are we going with this? What do we want as we grow and expand and rise? Maybe you're traveling on a staircase that takes you right up into the spirit world. Maybe we are connecting with heaven and earth at the same time through our bodies and our intention. Maybe we're bridging all sorts of gaps and conflicts and separations within us and our life. And ultimately, this is a balance, isn't it? A balance. Can you let things hold? Can you let things be? Can you find peace in these moments with this expanded version of yourself? Can you slow down and settle in to this feeling and this space where you find yourself? Okay, thank you. All right, what I really love to do now is bring both of these groups of you together. So we've got releasing here on my left, rising here on the right. So depending where you were, as I mentioned before, just holding you now under, so the stacks of you here under my palms like this, here in front of me, releasing on left, rising on right. And in a moment, I want to push these papers together so that they form one pile with hands over the top of each other as we bring both of these energies together and really recognize the importance and the balance of both releasing and rising, or in other words, out like our in and out breath, like giving and receiving, yin yang. It's a nice big breath. There's still a lot of healing energy coming out of my palms here. So keep allowing yourself to receive what you need. So now just interlocking my fingers here and pushing these energies together, pushing you all together as one as we merge heaven with earth, yin with yang, masculine with feminine, in with out, up with down, bringing opposites together as one. So now putting you in the middle here of my palms. And just holding this space for integration now. Feels like the energy wants to integrate and settle and find its place. Where does this fit in your life? Where does this fit for you now moving forward? So I'm going to keep you down here on my lap and I'm going to pull another card. See what this wants to add here. So I'll keep the others out because they feel perfect. So what do we want to add here at this point? And we'll talk about that, and then I will also pull another card a little later to go. So this is not our card to go. This is just a card which feels to me like integration. How can we integrate this? How can we let it settle? Where does it fit in our life? Is it just a break that we've needed? Is it just a sense of connection? Is there a bigger purpose to this plan and intention today? So what do we need to know at this point? We have this card here. This one here. Grounding. It's soul chakras. Soul chakras, number 2 in the rest category. And it almost feels like the left and right side here. My first impression is this balancing that we've done with the polarities, bringing them into balance. And it feels to me like the feet here are representing the left and the right side. So that polarity, but coming together as one. So down here it says to balance, ground, anchor the ideas, healing and change into your life and body. Your feet may require some attention. Yeah, so anchoring the ideas, the healing, the change. So anchoring what we've just done is the same thing as settling or integrating. So this is really grounding this energy through now. So let's bring our attention down to our feet. I'm going to keep holding you here in my palms, but bring your attention down to your feet. If you can, maybe rub your feet on the floor or the ground. Maybe clench your toes, squeeze your toes a bit, move your feet, your ankles, and circulate them as well, move them in circles, and really bring your attention, like draw it down to your feet for grounding. And what this is doing is it's bringing the higher energy we've just tapped into down into our body for grounding and for really bringing it into our reality in our life. So helping anchor or settle or bring it down, bring it through. So get your feet active, nice and active. Rub them if you can reach them. And whatever you feel you need to do, you might want to rub them together. You might want to push into the soles of your feet with your thumbs and really feel this connection here with your feet as it calls all the energy down into your body. So it can be practically helpful in your life, which is where it counts. So it's not something you leave behind here as, oh yeah, that was nice, but now I've got my everyday stuff to do. But bringing as much of this down as possible into your body now. So grounding and anchoring down to your feet, but also your legs and into your torso, down into your hands as well, your arms, and all throughout your body. So feel it find its place. It's a bit like, it reminds me of when I was talking about the fire energy. Sorry, I seem to have quite a dodgy internet connection today. But I was just saying that as the fire burns through the forest and burns away all the debris that's been kind of broken off or fallen from the trees, and it burns through and it chars the trees, and then the trees rejuvenate. So what I'm feeling now in the body is a bit like we're that tree, and after the really big releasing we've just done and the rising energy that we've just accessed to, it feels like our body's now starting to like grow, like be covered in leaves, like a freshly, recently burned out tree that then sparks with life again, and leaves just grow from everywhere. So it's like our body now is the trunk, and all these leaves are growing out from us as we allow the energy to settle, but as we grow now from our current position. And being careful that we're not losing ourselves or losing perspective of the reality of our life in the here and now by thinking or dreaming big pie in the sky things that takes us out of the reality, out of our body and out of this present moment. So let's bring it close to home. Let's anchor it down into our bodies and allow ourselves to grow. So beautiful. Okay, so let's fold you up now and put you somewhere safe and sacred. It's going to roll you up, and it might sound weird. I'm going to put you in the end of my flute, my sacred flute. So I'm going to chuck you all in here for safekeeping for today and hold you there. I don't think this will still play. Let me check. Oh, it does. Let's send a little love out to you. Just a little bit more fluting. Oh, I'll keep that other hole uncovered. So you're all tucked up in here now. So this is for grounding, this is for anchoring, this is for bringing this into your reality. And sorry, I don't know that much on the flute, so it's going to be similar to what I just did. So nice big breath. My stomach was having fun with that fluting. So I'll leave you there for the day in that sacred flute. I feel like it's like a remembering, but also bringing this into our life. So thank you so much. Let's grab a card to go. Oops. There goes a card that doesn't want to be in here. So let's grab a card to go now. What do we need to do or think about as we move now into our everyday life? What's next for us as we integrate this or marry this energy of polarities together and carry that emergence, that unity, that wholeness now forward into our life? So it's a bit like we've gathered ourselves, that part of ourselves over here, that part of ourselves over there, or down there and up there, however you feel it is. But I feel like on the sides, and we've gathered these parts of ourselves into our body. So we've married or merged this part of us, united these parts together. So now how can we walk forward in this united, balanced state? So the best way or the best card for our next step, what's next from here, is... okay, it's this here. It's this. What is this? Card 89, Soften Harshness. It's in the rest category, but again, we're connecting with this spiral, and it's very soft now, isn't it? Like it's a very softened spiral compared to this very strong, solid, kind of wonky spiral. This one's very soft and very bright and light. And down here it says, stop thinking the worst. Find a solution for the disruption. Settle conflicts. Well, that's interesting. A resolution, hope, gentleness. Soften the sharp edges and calm down. So this is softening harsh energy. So the harsh energy. Now, when we're in polarity, when we're out of balance, we tend to swing from one state to another quite intensely. And it could be over a fairly short period of time where we have highs and lows, like real highs and real lows. And this sharp, really energy that feels very severing is present. So what we've done today or during this connection is we've brought those two elements together and sort of found our balance, found our equilibrium, that center sort of space, that wholeness within. And now for us to move forward into our life with this energy or with this information is to consider what is harsh and what is sharp, what is rough, what is conflicting, what is brutal, what is fierce, what is difficult in our life right now. What feels like it's got sharp edges and it just keeps stabbing and poking and prodding at us. So this energy, how can we soften it? What can we do? Do we need to make changes? Do we need to shift our attitude? Do we need to close some doors? Do we need to commit more to something that we may be partially committed to, or back off from something for a while? Do we need to get a bit more organised? What do we need to do? How can we soften these sharp edges and these sharp parts in our life now moving forward? So that's what I feel really strongly coming in for what's next. How can you soften harshness? How can you settle and resolve conflicts that you might be experiencing at the moment too? So that's that. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you today. What a powerful healing event. I trust you feel much better than you did when you started, or even a little bit better would be great. So that would be good. Thank you for your support this month to those of you on the healing list today. I look forward to connecting with you again next month if you're inspired to stay. And if you would love to be a part of this healing event next month more personally, then please have a look on my Patreon. The link is in the video description. So at the $15 level or higher, you automatically have access, or you are included in this healing event. So please check it out for next month if you're inspired to. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you again very, very soon. Thank you. Namaste.